Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a great day. First I want to give thanks and glory to my Father in heaven, Yah, and my Redeemer, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. But anyway, y'all might want to turn your settings up to a little faster speed, because I know I talk slow and my voice has been really hoarse lately. So, and I know I talk kind of slow, and because I'm always thinking and talking at the same time, so it kind of interrupts my when I speak. So anyway, this may be kind of a long video because lately I've been thinking about these evil rulers of this world. Hope my sound's all right. I've been having problems with my sound on my videos, but anyway, hopefully it comes all right. So anyway, what I want to do is get started here. Ever since I was a kid, I believed in God, my Father, Jesus Christ, and I've always talked to God every day. I ask questions. I'd look up in the sky and I'd ask questions, like about how the signal was getting into the picture was going through the air and getting into the TV, because I had to turn an antenna for my papa and my granny, because I lived with them most of my life, or as I was growing up as a kid. But anyway, so I always tried to. I'd look up and I'd wonder how that picture was going through the air. And I couldn't see it, but I could go inside. I knew that antenna had to be pointed just right. So I'd go inside, my papa would say good, or a little bit more, whatever, when I was turning that antenna. And I'd look up and I'd ask God, how can I not see that? So I was just like 6 years old or 7. But anyway, I want to get started with this. So what I'm saying is I'm questioning all these leaders, all the stuff that's going around, they're wanting to force us to do, to take, and I can't say nothing about that right now, or maybe I'll do a video on another channel sometime. But anyway, I want to start off with it. I put all my faith in Yeshua, Yah, for my safety, for my salvation, for my family's salvation, for my family's safety. And I always have. I've never took my eyes off of God the Creator, or Yah. God is just like a title. His name is Yah, Y-A-H, and Yahshua is, and there's different variations. But anyway, for those that, I believe that our English language has evolved from the Hebrew, whether it be good or bad. Sometimes as a child of God, as a servant of God, I believe that I have to go try to find out what's going on with it. That I have to look and see if my enemy's done it or what. So I go back. It has evolved. Well, at the Tower of Babel, God, he changed everybody's language, so they couldn't scheme and plot to build, to do what they were doing at the time. So anyway, but we'll start off with this. So I always, in the denomination I grew up in, I would have gave my life for the teaching, not the denomination, but the teaching of what they taught, because it lined up with the Bible. But I was never taught to go back into the root meanings of these words and in the Bible. Our denominations really didn't teach that. They just took a scripture and made a story out of it, and it all sounded good, and it was correct too. But to know the deeper, to get into the pure truth of the word, you have to go research, go back to the roots, when the meaning started, or the meaning of the root words, because they are a lot of meanings for different words. So when I started doing that, I started seeing things that I wasn't taught. Because for everyone, if you're listening to me and you're my family or you're my friends, you've been deceived for sinister reasons. up and down through Arkansas, there is a powerful bloodline group that goes up and down through there, that it's been hid from you who you are. And if you and it's important to know who we are, utmost importance. And here's what I'll show you what Jesus said about who you are. I'm going to read the scripture. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, saying unto him, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. Well, he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In other words, I was sent to the bloodline of Israel, to the bloodline people of God. That's who Jesus said, I am sent to them, to the lost house. And that's who we are up and down through Arkansas and a lot of the United States. We're the lost house of Israel, a lot of us. Then she said, Lord, help me. It's not me to take the children's bread. Or he answered unto her. Then the Lord said to her, well, the story goes on that she's, you all probably heard the story. And Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole. Anyway, you can be grafted into that vine by accepting what Jesus, the redemption price that he paid for our sins. We won't be judged for sins because Jesus paid for them. Pay for what we have done wrong, as long as we repent from our heart. But anyway, I want to go on this. So it's very important to know who your bloodline is, because I believe there's going to be harvest, as the Bible teaches. And the reason I say that, I'll read scripture here about the signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. All right? There shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth great distress of nations. And then, when all this is happening, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And then Jesus says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. There's the scripture says we'll meet him in the air. So that is not the second coming where Jesus comes down and sets his feet on the Mount of Olives. This is a meeting in the air. And these are the harvest, the rapture, the brides, especially the church. The church is the bride, the remnant. But anyway, if you'll study out the root words, you'll see that there is an escape planned. And I hear these preachers saying, "Oh, y'all have the escape mentality." No, there's some things coming on this earth. If you have served Jesus Christ. Just like Noah, he provided a way of escape. He's going to provide several ways of escape for his people, for his true followers. But anyway, and I think the time is getting closer. And I put up a video about the Hebrew gematria. Now I'll say a little bit about that for just a second. When you go to Blue Letter Bible, and you get that scripture, scroll down and you click on the tools and you click on a number. You're using a type of math of gematria, and just because the Greeks come up with this system of the gematria, that's where everybody thinks that this gematria comes from, is the Greek. Well, most of the Greeks were grandsons of Noah, Japheth, so they are the Gentiles because but they are able to be grafted back in, But so some of them people were followers of God. I mean, they were followers of God. I'm not saying that, but anyway, that William Cooper was a well-known truth guy on the internet. William Cooper. He's supposed to got shot because of telling the truth. Trying to get the truth out. He says if you don't know if you don't understand gematria, if you don't believe in gematria, you'll never understand God. You'll never understand his creation, because everything has to be numbered. You'll never understand God. He said you can quote scriptures, you can spout out scriptures all day long, but you will never understand God until you understand the values behind every word. So anyway, what I'm saying is that people say it's satanic. Well, I'm saying even if it's satanic, if it was, you have to know what your enemy is doing. And I can tell you this, that the satanic side uses this numerology and stuff like that to see who you are, because there's the signs and the sun, moon, and stars. That when God was talking to Abraham, he said, look up at the stars, and you can't even, because this is going to be like your seed. Everything is a seed. And we're created from light. Some people say there's not such thing as atoms, okay? But there's cells, light cells. And I used to have this TV that had like 6 lights on it, all different, like the colors of the rainbow, that projected this light onto the screen, and it made a picture. So some people, they say we live in a simulation. Well, that's kind of right. A matrix type of situation that's numbered with ley lines in the earth and the firmament. So what I'm getting around to is we're created from light cells. Whether they're atoms or not, I don't know. But those cells react. Those light cells that we're created from react to your eyes. But anyway, that is really not what this. I kind of trying to set a foundation for what I'm fixing to talk about, these evil rulers, because I'm not afraid of them. I trust in my Creator. 100%. I'm not afraid of these people. I believe that if the time comes that I need to pray fire down on them or whatever, that God will allow that to happen for me. I've had that faith since I was 6 years old. That's the earliest I remember. I remember things that happened a little bit when I was 4 and a little bit when I was 5 years old. But when I got 6 years old and 7, I started, going to revivals with my granny and all that, and I would listen to those preachers. And I kind of have whenever I listened, I put it in my heart, those scriptures and stuff. I put those, I tried my best. At the time I didn't know what I was doing, but I remembered them because back then those preachers preached hellfire and brimstone. And so anyway, in that sense, I kind of got a photographic memory of scriptures. And then, and I was really good in math in school. I was really good. And I'm just going to tell this right here. When I was going to college, I went for a year and a half to Division II college. All right. Well, one day I seen some flyers posted all over the place about this chess tournament. And I had never played chess a day in my life. And I thought, I think I'm going to try that. If I can find somebody to teach me the basics of this chess, I'm going to get in this chess tournament. And there were 120 people entered this chess tournament, intramural chess tournament. And there was one guy that had won the championship like 2 years in a row, and he just happened to be the administrator over our dorm. But anyway, I thought, I want to try that. So I had one of my guys on our floor taught me how to move the pieces of the chessboard. Well, there was 120 people entered this chess tournament. So, and man, once I figured it out in my head, I could, I knew how to do it. I knew how to do, I knew how to play the chess, how to move the characters on this chessboard to win. So anyway, I won. I kept winning and winning in this chess tournament, and after about the time it was over, about a week later, I was in the finals with the guy that had won the chess for 2 or 3 years in a row. And I thought, and I prayed. I said, Lord, I'd like to beat this guy right here, and I know nothing about chess. So anyway, of course, I didn't win. I got close, but I didn't win against him. But it was a lesson for me to learn that. But anyway, I was really good at that. And I was really good at math. There was a girl in my class that I wanted to beat in class. I was in the 12th grade, she's in the 11th grade, and we done extra work for credits because I wanted to win and she wanted to win. You know, she wanted to be the top in the class and I wanted to be the top in the class. When it was over, at the end of the year, I got an award for the best math, the student. I had 111 average, 111. She had 105, for the end of the year. So I was really good. I could see those. Back then we done fractions and all that, division, and I mean the math come to me really clear. So now that later on in my life, I'm seeing, well, now I kind of understand that why I was I was good in math, and I could see that our creation is made from mathematical equations, and so anyway, I'm going to go on with this video because these evil rulers, they have no rights over you, over me, over my family. God gave me my family as gifts. The rulers of this world are not going to control me and my family and God's family if they don't let them, because I trust Yah. I trust my Creator. I trust my Redeemer, So anyway, what I'm going to get to is the stars. I believe they are something to astronomy, because the Bible teaches there'll be sign in the sun, moon, and stars, for Moedim, for appointed times. And so, things like that, for seasons. And back then they had, these festivals and all this kind of, the feast days and stuff. So they would do it by the moon, the sun, moon, and stars, mainly but anyway, so when you're born into this world, you are born when those stars and sun and moon are doing certain things in the sky. They're telling a story of God. Always provides a witness, a second witness, like the Bible. We have the Bible, the scriptures, and then the story goes on in the heavens from the stars and the sun and the moon. So I'm saying that if you're born on a certain moon, because they claim Donald Trump was born on a blood moon. Well, I got to researching that a little bit because I want the truth about everything. I want the truth. So, because I wasn't taught it in my denominations. Our denominations, the one I was in, is a branch. When you go back into the history, a branch from the Vatican Catholic Church. It's a branch off of it. I was raised pretty much into like the Assemblies of God and the Pentecostals. So I was taught about spirits and such as that, spirits, that there are demons and spirits on this earth. So anyway, but it's a branch from the Catholics. You and anyone that hears me, my family that goes to the Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Baptist, Nazarene, you're still a branch off the Vatican Catholic Church system. So there have been deception all along the way. Satan's had a long time to deceive even the church world. And so anyway, what I'm saying is these rulers use this black magic from the sun, moon, and stars. They use rituals, and to keep us deceived. And Jesus said, "I came for the lost house of Israel." So I take that very personal, because when I found out I was from the lost house of Israel, I'm thinking, why didn't somebody tell me? Why didn't my church tell me? Because the blood that runs through your veins are very important to God. The life is in the blood. God created this, our system created our system with blood, to give us life, to breathe life into that blood, that body, that blood. But anyway, now these evil rulers, they think they're the elite. They think that now God did set up this earth as a king situation, monarch, I guess you call it. He set it up that way, like when King David was ruling. That's the way the world was supposed to be run. Be operated from a king, and then he appoints whoever he wants to rule in under him. And that's the way this earth is supposed to be set up, through kings and that situation. So what I'm saying is what I'm saying it's these evil rulers, and they were born certain times. And two of the significant times that I have seen that people were born in was June and September. And I started noticing June and September was where a lot of these kings and that rule this world are born in. Like Donald Trump was born in June. But anyway, I want to go on with this so I don't have to make it too long, because this is going to be a long video. I ask that you watch it plumb to the end, because I may not comment at the end, but if I do, I'm going to try to do it all in this, and then you can watch the segments of videos that I've prepared, for you to watch a little bit of. They ain't very long. So I'm just going to ask you to bear with me a little bit and through this video, so that you can kind of see who runs this world. Now, there's a company in America, United States, that rule this world. The name of the company is Serco, S-E-R-C-O. Prince William owns Serco. They have 90% of the public transportation, 90% of the video technology equipment, the spy equipment where they spy on you, and they public transportation, they own 90%. They basically own the world. This company named Serco, which is owned by Prince William. Anyway, I want to go see what, I'm trying to figure out who these guys are, because I've got a calling to do to try to wake up these lost house of Israel that it's in the United States or even across the world, if they can get my videos, because and something real peculiar has happened to me all my life, and I want to break in and do this. Just day before yesterday, I'd come up through by Nimrod Lake and all this stuff in Arkansas. But anyway, when I got out of my car, I went to my room, and then about 10, 15 minutes later, I walked outside, and there was a guy coming out of the back of a restaurant, and he looked over at me, and he walked over to me, and he said, started talking to me like he kind of knew me. The closer he got, then he started seeing I wasn't the guy he thought I was. Now, this has happened to me all my life. Every time I went to a school or something, there's always somebody thinking I'm somebody else and saying I look just like their friend or their, and the most obvious one was, I've had several obvious ones where this has happened. I bet it's happened 25 times at least in my life, where somebody's come up and didn't even know they was talking to a guy named Travis Garrison. They told me the name of the people, a couple of them did, because I said, "Who do y'all think I am anyway?" And they said, "Why ain't you so-and-so Simmons?" And I said, "No, my name is Travis Garrison." But that's happened to me all my life. I used to go to a skating rink in Lawton, Oklahoma, and every time I went to that skating rink, somebody would come up, a little kid would come up and start being my friend like they knew me and stuff, and I'm thinking, and I tell them my name, and they would their eyes would get big around the saucers and think, man, that they thought I was lying. That's what it seemed like. But this guy, I was going to this heart doctor that only took appointments at, he had other offices, different places, so he only took appointments. I started as a new patient for a heart doctor. Well, there was a guy there with me, and his wife they'd come there too the first time. Well, I had to go back in another month for test results, and their appointment was at the same time, and he started talking to me, and he's asked me questions about the things I supposedly talked to him about in a Dollar General up in his town, and he kept on talking about a little bit about the conversation we had, and I said, "Well, sir, I was in Naples, Texas. I wasn't up there in your Dollar General." And his eyes got about big around his saucers, and he said, he couldn't believe it, that it wasn't me he talked to. Well, he said, I even said, "Well, I'll see you next month." This is in Dollar General. He thought he was talking to me. And I first thought it was that I was being set up, but it's happened so many times that there wasn't even time for somebody to even set up a situation like that, to try to fool me or whatever. So everybody sees me everywhere. Everybody sees me everywhere, and thinking I'm somebody else. But anyway, that was just. I might get back to that here in a little bit, to the rest of that story there, but I'm trying to make this video short. So the rulers of this world that I think sent on this beast system is Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Prince Charles, Prince William, Prince Harry. So I wanted to go look up and see who the people that own Serco is Prince William. So I thought, well, I'm going to see where the sun, moon, and stars are at when they were born. And I found some very interesting things about some of these guys, and I want to show them to you. So, and y'all go research out this company, SERCO. They monitor us like we're their slaves. Well, I'm not their slave. My family's not their slave. I depend on my Creator. So y'all can take that for what it's worth. And I know the Department of Homeland Security, the CDC of Arkansas, they all know who I am. I'm gonna do another video on my grandfather, my brother that passed away at birth, and me here hopefully in the next day or two, because we're running out of time. And the Antichrist is already on the scene, but I think he's going to it's possible, there's a sign coming up on June 10th about this eclipse, and I think that iPet Goat is about the June 10th eclipse of this Antichrist receiving his power, or more power. But anyway, I'm going to get started with this about these people who are on Serco when they were born, because it's very interesting to me that Jesus said they come for the lost house of Israel. But one more thing before I go into that. In Genesis, Jacob clearly understood that he was the sun. This was a dream he had. His wife was the moon, and his 12 children were the stars. And they have a secondary meaning. The stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel, some of them, so there is something to the story that's going on in the heavens, the sun, moon, and stars. But anyway, so there is a second witness called the stars, what's going on in the inner sky. God told us they was. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there, but I want to go ahead with these people's births. I ain't gonna get all of them. I'm just gonna do 3 of them that own Serco. When was Prince Charles born? November 14, 1948. And y'all have to bear with me on this for a little bit, because this thing, if I go off this stellarium, it resets itself, to brand new. So I have to kind of start all over. So if y'all will bear with me, I think you'll find something very interesting. Here, I've got a little bit faster connection, so maybe it won't take so long. All right. Did that get to? No, that we need that ecliptic line, because that's what the sun, moon, and stars follow. They stay close to that ecliptic. But he was born. Prince Charles was born, 1948, the same year Israel became a nation. If I can get there, I wish they had a setting you could just tap it in, because it takes too long to, kind of takes a little bit more time to do it this way. And there may be a setting in here where you can change that, but I just don't have a lot of time. 48. He was born on November 14th, 1948. It's just I'm not going to mess with the time over here really, except for on a couple of them. Let's see what was going on when Prince Charles was born. See where the sun, moon, and stars are at. This is Prince Charles at night. He was day, or when he was born. Looks like Venus is in the womb. And looks like Saturn here, which we all know that Saturn stands for Satan. He's under the belly of Leo, the line of the tribe of Judah. This represents Jesus Christ, or Yeshua. This represents Israel, the womb of the Virgin. And Mercury is the messenger. I believe is a messenger. There's a message going on about this. Who's been born right here, and it's about Saturn, about Satan, who's been born, and Mars is like announcing war or whatever. And Jupiter is in Sagittarius. They call these planets, they're stars. I have recordings where you can go see the very, you can just about see the cells in the stars. They're not really a planet. But that's kind of beside the point. I'm just going to go by what this is supposed to be, the king right here, and Mars. So this is when Prince Charles was born. There's something going on right here. This is telling us something, that there's Satan right there at the line of the tribe of Judah, and there's so anyway, there's something going on here. I really don't understand all of it. I just know that there is. When you look these up, you'll see. And the moon is let's see what stage this moon's at. It is at 97%. So he was born basically on a full moon, Prince Charles. Donald Trump was born on a blood moon. All right. I don't know exactly what all that means. I just know it's something. It don't look good to me. These are the people that own Serco. All right. Prince Harry. Let's see when he was born. September 15th. See what I mean? June and September is when they were born. So there's something to this being born in these certain months. All right. Let's see here. Let me get all the artwork and all this up here. Okay, he was born September 15th, 1984. I missed it a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, Mercury's in the line of the tribe of Judah. The sun, Venus is in the womb the night that Prince Harry was born. Saturn is near the judgment scales. Satan is in the Libra, probably is the scales. So this is and Mars is in Scorpio. So that's kind of interesting to me, while Jupiter is in Sagittarius still. Again, so the king's in Sagittarius. The war is in Scorpius. And Saturn is in the scales, like judgment's coming. Because Satan is allowed to execute judgment on this evil earth. I really don't know what that means, for sure. I'm just going by, he was born on a 72% light of the moon. So that right there really, to me, with part of the light on the moon, I think this means something important, but with the light being part way on the moon, it kind of don't put me like him in the spotlight to me. But he may be hidden. But let's go to now Mr. Prince William. He was born on June. See, there's that June again, June 21 at 9:03 p.m. So let's look him up, see what was going on in the stars. All right, let me get the ecliptic up here and close this out. And let me get all this going here. All right, he was born June 21 in 1982. And while I'm doing this, folks, I've never seen a time that where the kids and even the parents ain't their children, their gifts from God. I've never seen a time where there's so much. It's not like father and son and son and father, or it's not like honor between the parents and the kids, the children. it's 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 like when a child is born after they get old enough to do what they want anymore. About it just seems like about half the children, they don't consider their father as their dad, and I'm not going to say father, but their dad. I mean, and their mom. They just don't honor them. If you're a child and you lie to your parents, you're dishonoring your parents. And if a parent don't want to take care of their children, you're dishonoring what God's creation, his family. So anyway, if you don't, I'm asking you children and you parents to pray that God puts in your heart back the way it's supposed to be with family, because Satan's he's on a warpath to destroy families, and and if we let him, he will destroy our own family. So prayer for families, and for us to get it back right, like God intended for it to be, because Satan hates the families. He hates the God's creation of family. God told Adam and Eve to replenish the earth, to have families, to create families. But anyway, let's see here. I done forgot what I was doing. Oh, June 21st, 1982. June 21st. It's on 21st. Now, he was born at 9:03. I'm going to do the time here to the very minute. Now, 9:03, this when Prince William was born. June 21st, 1982 at 9:03. All right. Okay. All right, this one here was the interesting one to me. I'm going to do one on Donald Trump and Barack Obama, but not in this film here. Now then, the moon he was born on a new moon, no light. He was born on a conjunction, and it may even be it may even be an eclipse. I didn't look that part up, but I just know there's a conjunction where this happens a lot. But he was born on a new moon with no light at the time he was born. Venus is in Taurus, and there's another. It's either Mercury or Mars in the Taurus here. I'll see which one that is. But Venus is in the Ox. Now, what gets me is what I'm fixing to show you. This is the day Prince William was born. I wish they'd make this different. All right, here's where we go. That other one was Mercury up there announcing something in the ox, in the bull. All right. On the ecliptic is Mars right here at the womb of Israel. What gets me is Saturn is in the womb. Satan is in the womb right there the night Prince William was born. And the king represents, I believe these planets can represent a plus and a minus, a good and a bad. So for people to say they're just one way or another, mythical gods or whatever, I don't believe in, all that stuff. I believe there's a plus and a minus to everything, a real and a counterfeit. So I think that he is some kind of a king, and this representation of that when he was born on a new moon, it's like hidden. If you're born on a new moon, you're hidden, or you're light. You don't have light, the right light. There's two ways that new moon is: either there's no light or you're hidden. That's what I believe, the plus and the minus. That's what I believe that means. When you're born on a new moon where there's no light, you're either hidden or you're no light of God. So anyway, but this was the most interesting one I have found. I mean, I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you, because, but Prince William owns this Serco that monitors the whole world with his cameras and stuff, I mean, I'm just sitting here wondering, there's people who believes Obama's the Antichrist. and Trump, and I lean towards Trump more than any, because he's in my bloodline. So are these people. These people are in my bloodlines, and they've hid it from us. There's people up and down Arkansas, Highway 71, and if you go, I've done a video on the names of the towns that's from Fort Smith to Texarkana, and you'll see they're named after Prince William's family, the Queen. There's a town called D Queen. Right before D Queen is a little town called King, and there's the next town is called Guillamaine, which is off of the name of William the Conqueror. So what I'm saying is they've hid this from people down through there, not wanting them to know who they are, not wanting them to know that they are children of these bloodlines, of these royal bloodlines. You know, they told them they were Indians and all kinds of stuff, you know. And I'm here to say that the Scottish Rite Freemasons, Pope Pius the Church, the organization, the fire departments, the ambulance departments, the city halls, now all work for Hitler, the Antichrist, and they monitor people 24 hours a day, some people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've been doing this to me since I was 6 years old. When I was in the 6th grade, I had one girl follow me, or it was a family really, but the girl was in my class, and she followed me to 4 different schools in 5 different, she followed me to 4 different schools in 3 different states. And about the 3rd time this girl followed me to I went from Lawton, Oklahoma to a place called Garner, Texas, and I turned around there. This girl is in my class again about 2 weeks, and I turned around and said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "Oh, we just moved here." And I said, "Does your dad drive a truck or what? You know, why you move around so much?" She said, "No, he works for the military." Well, I'd never put that together till lately. 5 or 6 years ago, I started realizing, hey, they was following me my whole life, because they knew that God was going to have somebody wake up and try to tell the people who they are, that your bloodline means something. It's very important. Now, Jesus Christ came for the lost house of Israel, but also the Gentiles can be grafted into that vine, adopted into that vine where they have the same blood, the symbolic blood of the lost house of Israel, not the lost house, but of Israel. So anyway, and I can't stress enough to everyone that knows me, I know they've trashed me and they've told lies on me, and they've done everything to destroy anything that I say. You know, that's okay, except for the part that the people need to wake up to who they really are. And here's the reason I read the scriptures about to look up when your redemption draws nigh, because I believe there's harvest. And if the first harvest happens, this Antichrist spirit's coming after you. They watch you 24 hours a day. They can monitor you anytime they so choose to. So what I'm saying is they're coming just like Hitler did. He went after a bloodline. Hitler went after a bloodline. Hitler's spirit is still alive. That spirit transcends time from one person to another. So Hitler, that spirit will always be alive until God destroys it at the end of the Battle of Armageddon. So what I'm saying is that if you don't understand who you are and make sure you're right with Jesus Christ, that you've accepted him, and you get left here from the first harvest, you are going to be in trouble. Your family will be in trouble. They will use your kids against you. They will force you to take that mark, and they will use your own children against you. That's when you'll realize that it's too late. Man, I've had to sacrifice my kids to this system, or I'm going to take the mark, and so I'm saying how important it is for you to know who you are, because Hitler's coming after you first down Highway 71. In Hebrew, it's Highway 17. Highway 71 is Highway 17, and the way they read, they've taught us they've taught us in reverse so that we wouldn't know what they were thinking or doing, so we wouldn't know their plans, because Satan's had a long time. He hates the children of Israel. He hates everybody, but he especially hates the children of Israel because they're God's chosen people. And so what I'm saying is that you can go to FamilySearch.org. It's owned by the Mormons and the Vatican. There's 2 genealogies. If you'll go in there and you'll start digging and you don't quit, you'll find out who you are. and you're the bloodline of Judah, down Highway 71, you're mainly the bloodline of Judah. But you do have a lot of people has a little bit of Dan in them and some Gad. You know, they're kind of scattered of the tribes of Israel up and down Highway 17. That's what I'm going to call it, Highway 17, because that's where I was born. I was born on the corner of the 7th Street and Highway 17, the old Highway 17. That's where I was born, 177. So anyway, I'm going to stop this video because it's going to be too long, and I'm going to try to do a follow-up on it, but I'm just saying, we're getting close to this eclipse time, and I believe it's very significant. It's a sign in the heavens, and I believe we're getting close to. I mean, if y'all don't know, you can't even go into a lot of stores now without the mask. I mean, they're saying we don't need the mask no more, but you can't go in stores without the mask in Oklahoma, and then lots of parts of Arkansas. I mean, they're just act like it's still really going on and stuff, and the masks don't even work for a virus. It's ridiculous what the. Oh, I hope I didn't say too much. I might get this video deleted. If I do, I'll upload it to Rumble. Because they monitor. I may cut this part out.
Have you guys ever heard of a company called Serco? Well, it might be the biggest company that you have never heard of. Everyone knows about the private prison industry, the transportation industry, and government agencies. But what if I told you that there was just one company that oversaw almost every facet of all of these sectors? Yep, that's Serco, the mother of all multinational corporations. Serco is a $1.5 billion services company based in Hook, North Hampshire in the United Kingdom, whose motto is bringing services to life. So, what the hell does that actually mean? Well, according to their website, Serco improves the quality and efficiency of essential services that matter to millions of people around the world. The work we do for national and local governments involves us with the most important areas of public service, including health, education, transport, science, and defense. Now, I know it still sounds very vague about what they actually do, but more importantly is how many industries Serco actually oversees across the entire planet. Since governments from around the world outsource to Serco, the massive corporation has its tentacles in 16 countries worldwide. They cash in on detention. Serco runs 7 immigration centers and has a presence on every military base in Australia. They're also the largest operator of private prisons in the UK. Serco also directs airplanes. They are the largest air traffic controllers in the world, with 54 towers in the US alone. The company also supplies air traffic control in Iraq and the United Arab Emirates. Serco also moves people on the ground, from Scotland ferries to Dubai metros. But the company not only manages public transport everywhere, but also operates speed track cameras and creates the software for monitoring traffic across London. But don't worry, Serco's looking out for the kids, guys. They currently have contracts to run every state school in Bradford, England. But they haven't forgotten about Grandma and Grandpa. They're privatizing community centers too. If you haven't figured it out yet, Serco is essentially the Swiss Army knife of corporations. Serco plays doctor too. Private hospitals are a big industry under the umbrella company. And Serco has started to acquire hospitals in Australia and England. Serco is so unbelievably powerful that they even control time. Yep, Serco has friends in such high places, they have been contracted to set Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Do you think that things like running border patrol and protecting nuclear arsenals should be run by a government body or a private multinational? Well, I'm sure you can guess what I'm getting at next. Serco does both. Not only do they look over the country's entire nuclear arsenal, they also run the UK's ballistic missile defense system. In fact, their primary purpose of being stationed here in the United States is to supply defense and intelligence services across the nation. Check out their promo video for the US government.
For the Department of Homeland Security, we manage over 62 million active records, helping to keep our nation secure.
Think of it as an integrated system that helps the right person make the right decision at the right time. For the intelligence community, We provide planning, training, program support, and project execution. And the rest, it's classified.
The rest is classified? Guys, we already think you're shady. Is it really necessary to tell us that you have even more secrets? But thanks for the disclaimer. So what branches of the government does Serco specifically provide services to? Well, the U.S. Army, U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, the Ministry of Ontario, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Marine Corps, Federal Retirement Thrift Investment Board, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, U.S. Department of State, the intelligence community. Whew, let me catch my breath. I just wanted to establish the extent of their reach. But wait, there's more. Serco's so passionately committed to the U.S. that they're also working with the government to fight cyber terrorism. And they remain passionately committed to the American government's mission. Check it out.
I like to say, we don't have to look hard to find the best and brightest. They find us.
We are passionate about the future of our nation, and we embrace our government's mission as our mission. We are Serco.
Your mission, our passion.
We are the company that runs the world. Don't worry, they're passionate about swallowing up the world industry by industry, government by government. Since 1994, they've grown by over 1,200%, and they continue to acquire more contracts and services every day. So how does it happen that a multinational corporation can run things such as the time and the safeguarding of nuclear weapons? Well, about 85% of Serco's employees are also ex-public servants, so they have the know-how and networking to keep that revolving door going. So why don't we know more about Serco? Well, that's just the problem, is that this corporation has way too much power and way too much control. There's no doubt that we live in a corporatocracy. The corporate coup d'etat has already taken over. The question is, how are we going to fight it?
And the heat wave continues.
Let's cool you off.
Basically, you're looking at the coordination as the shape of a bird almost. It's been developed all over viewing roads and the rest of it.
Neil.
Don't put it on my face. Take a disliking to me, right? Go back. It's making acid.
Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor and the author of Still Winning, Why America Went All In on Donald Trump and Why We Must Do It Again. Charlie, good to see you tonight.
Great to see you.
It's so interesting to look back at the Boris Johnson path. He was the mayor of London, as we pointed out.
Feature. It was tough, but I wanted to only feature one, and I decided to go with Prince William. And when looking at Prince William's collection, I wanted to go against the approach I took for Putin and highlight a piece that holds more sentimental value rather than the amount of zeros on the end of the price tag. The watch is an Omega Seamaster 300 quartz midsize. The watch certainly is not a bad watch, being the smaller 36mm version of one of the best-selling watches Omega has ever produced. However, when thinking of a watch fit for a prince or royalty, I think there are many other likely suspects that you would usually get the go-ahead to in lieu of this watch. That said, what makes this watch special, apart from its more down-to-earth charm, is where it comes from. The watch was a gift to Prince William from his late mother, Princess Diana. The watch clearly means a lot to William, as he has been seen wearing it on several occasions, most notably on his wedding day back in 2011. So next up, we have one of the most controversial.
Okay, I'm going to end this video, but I want to show you part of this that y'all just watched. It's about, I just wanted to talk about the expressions these two boys had on their face as this goes on, but I want y'all to watch this. Prince Harry really don't like this snake. I mean, you can kind of tell he don't want to do it, but Prince William didn't have a problem. But that Prince Harry, or Harry, I'm going to call him Harry because I don't think they're really princes. He still does the hidden hand, though, the Masonic hidden hand when he's on TV. But the only thing I don't like he does, right here, he sticks his tongue out like a snake. But you can tell Prince William, he kind of likes that snake. And the snake represents Saturn, you know, I mean, but you can watch Prince Harry, the expression on his face that he really don't, he's not comfortable with it, what I'll say like that. But Prince William's one that was born with the more interesting birth chart. But you can see Harry, he just ain't liking that. But anyway, now they're petting, let's see, a cheetah, I think, you know. I mean, they're showing you the Bible prophecy. I mean, that's what they're showing you here, that like a leopard, you know. I mean, that's what this is all about, folks. These are they do rituals, I mean, and all kind of stuff. I mean, now this one here is oh, this is the same one. Let me, hold on. Y'all hang on one just a second. I don't want to show y'all something here. The watches these people wear. Show you the name of these watches right quick, and then let me get on over here to now he's talking about the watches that Prince William always wears. Now I'll show you the name of these watches. This is Prince William's watch, like the Alpha and the Omega. They say this is all he watches. And the clock is on 10, 8. And then there's an 8, like 88. 1, 88. But anyway, but they have another one over here I wanted to show you. They're showing you 10, 10 right there, 10, 9 or something, but something to all that. See what Donald Trump wears, what kind of watch he wears. I ain't so sure that Donald Trump, because his last name wasn't really Trump. Trump's a surname that they made up. They hijacked Trump from, Trump means trumpet. And he kind of hijacked that. His family did, but anyway, well, right here maybe. That's kind of watches he wears. Constantine. There's a little symbol for all you church people. And I used to be church people too, but and I ain't saying nothing bad about your church, because a lot of good Christian people in these churches. But if you're in a church that is got a 501c3, your church has a covenant, is in a covenant with the government, with Caesar. God says to come out from among that world system, because they control the churches under a 501c3 because the government is giving you money. That's what it boils down to. So I'm saying to the denominational world, you have to come out from among that 501c3. God will supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. You know, I mean, and there's no, you can't even argue with that because it's true. If your church is a 501c3, tax exempt, then you either have to get your pastor to get out of that, to deny that 501c3, or you have to leave that church because you're bound by a witchcraft spell. And this whole world, that's how they operate, is on witchcraft rituals, spells. It's all over the world, and very few can't see it. But thank y'all for coming to my channel. I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you find out who you are. All this stuff about all these things about these DNA kits where you see what DNA you are. Y'all think about it. It's to track and see where you're at. It's to find out who you are, where the children of God are, because they can track those bloodlines. So anyway, thank y'all for coming to my channel. Hope you have a great day. Accept Jesus Christ or Yeshua, however you want to say it. I grew up under the name of Jesus Christ, and that kept me from harm. It kept me from everything, because no weapon formed against God will prosper. The Greek Hebrew value is 888. A new beginning, a new beginning, a new beginning. That's the value of the name of Jesus. Even if they slipped a J in there 500 years ago, no weapon formed against God will prosper. And actually, I think they just actually didn't know what they were doing when they done that, you know. But anyway, it's however, you know, I'm not going to argue with anybody over it or whatever, anything like that. I use the name Yeshua most of the time anymore because that was his Hebrew name, but I believe God knew the time we were going to be in, and no weapon formed against his church will prosper. If you're right in your heart, you're his church. Now, I believe names are important. I really do. I believe they are of utmost importance. And if you say Jesus Christ or you say Yeshua, I don't think it'll keep you out of hell, because I know my grandmother's in heaven and all she knew was the name of Jesus. She's the one that really took me to church and taught me about Jesus Christ, and she loved the Lord with all her heart. I mean, she wasn't perfect because she was a human, but she repented. But thank y'all for coming to my channel. I done made this too long.